From legendary weapons to ferocious hotties, Tower of God mixes the excitement from Hunter x Hunter and adds a twist to the exciting journey of Bam and Kun. Let's follow these brave Samaritans as they defy all odds and triumph in difficult situations. Do you desire fame, mastery, beauty, luxury, or dominance? The tower can grant any wish you desire. Whoever can climb it can attain everything this world has to offer. Our story begins with Bam helplessly running after Rachel. Even though he is madly in love with her, she has aspirations beyond his comprehension. As she faded from his sight, the Gatemaster invited him to join the challenge. Anyone and everyone is welcome to try and climb. Head-On began to explain the details of the tower to our helpless lover, and the first test was already underway. If he is able to bypass the gigantic eel and break the ball, he passes. Sounds easy, right? As he was about to rush in, Princess Yuri stepped in to stop him from committing suicide. She started scolding his reckless behavior and labeled him a non-regular. That's slang for average, by the way. While Head-On argued with her, she rebuked him, saying the eel is tough for even level 20 warriors. And seeing as how fragile Bam is, I doubt he'd qualify as a level 1 warrior. However, Princess Yuri seems to have the hots for him. It's always the wimpy guys who receive the harem, huh? Head-On then challenged her to give him the Black March, a legendary sword that can cut through anything once the user masters it. She accepts and summons her weapon inventory to hand him the sword. Since he wants to meet Rachel so desperately, he accepts her gift and walks into the slaughter chamber with the resolve of a Spartan. Wait, I spoke it too early. He stood there paralyzed and was gobbled up in an instant. I'm not sure if Yuri is mad about losing her weapon or future lover at this point. Just then, Bam was spat out after having stabbed him from the inside. It is revealed that the test was to face your fears, and he successfully passed. Nevertheless, he was unable to break the ball to save his life. It reminded him of how hopeless he was back then, and how Rachel was the one that saved him. No wonder he was madly in love with her. Out of desperation, my guy asked the sword to lend its strength, and the most divine concubine came to steal his heart and vanquish the eel. What an unexpected turn of events. After he was transcended to the next level, the announcer told them to reduce their numbers from 400 to 200, starting an all-out massacre. What is this, the Hunger Games? I'm starting to like this show. We are then shown a flashback of Rachel teaching Bam how to write. She also instills the idea of fighting into him for the first time. Talk about peer pressure. In the present, the weird-looking alligator, Rak, is throwing a hissy fit for being called an alligator. I guess he'd hunt me down as well if he heard me. Everyone else seemed to be engrossed in battle, and Rak threw the first strike. Kun barely dodged it and decided it wasn't worth it and bailed. However, upon seeing the legendary sword, he launched a sneak attack on Rak and took Bam to cover. Something smells fishy here. Too fishy. Never mind. He was just wondering how Bam came in possession of the sword. Things are starting to get heated on the battlefield. There sure are powerful warriors gunning after the wish. If climbing the tower is this brutal, perhaps we should warn Bam to go back. Wouldn't want our fragile protagonist to get mauled now, do we? Well, thankfully, Kun has his back, and they both formed an alliance. Just then, Rak showed up to exact vengeance. However, the test was over, and the remaining survivors passed. For the next test, they wanted them to form teams of 3 within the given time limit. Rak and Kun didn't seem to get along, as they were polar opposites. Even so, they ended up working as a trio and passed on to the next stage. They then met the next test administrator, Lero. Apparently, he was a ranker, someone who had climbed the top of the tower where King Jihad is located. This guy must be the real deal. In the blink of an eye, he summoned a giant tsunami, pushing everyone back and formed a wall. He started explaining what Shinsu was, a source of the tower's power. Everyone in the tower uses this type of water to fight, and in order to pass to the next stage, they must withstand the pressure of the Shinsu and pass through. To make matters worse, if one person loses from the team, the whole gang fails. Now that's not fair. Wait a minute, it seems that Bam wasn't pushed back for some reason, so he gets an automatic pass. Talk about good luck. The contestants tried to push through, but the majority failed. The strong ones, on the other hand, casually walked through. While they were waiting, Lero and Bam started chatting about the tower, and he revealed its secrets to him. He then gave him a demonstration of his power and what it would be like to climb the tower. It was now time for the next test. Rain was pouring down in a flashback of Kun while he was lying on the ground outside of the castle. Since his sister wasn't chosen by Jihad, he and his family had to be kicked out. He then started remembering the words of his mother, telling him not to trust anyone and keep moving forward. In the present, Bam doesn't seem to know what the sky is. Where did he grow up? Inside a cave. Rak, for one, didn't hold back his laughter. Bam then explained how Rachel wanted to see the stars badly and insisted they were found at the top of the tower. Their conversation was interrupted by a loud scream, followed by an invitation for the next team to enter. It seems the next test is going to be quite a challenge. Suddenly, a weird-looking orange dude started giving them hints based on his deduction skills. However, Kun was against it, since he knew they were guinea pigs to test his hypothesis. After calling Kun the abandoned son, he leaped on top of him ready to end his life, but restrained and joined Rak and Bam to meet Yu, the next director. He explained to them that they must choose the correct door and only get one chance to do it. What sort of mind game is he playing? Not to mention that they only have 10 minutes to do so. Rak and Bam started freaking out while Kun was taking his time analyzing every possible outcome. But before long, Rak just kicked through a door and passed the test. The conditions for passing was opening any door within 5 minutes. He was devastated by the outcome but continued regardless. While in the waiting room, Bam started socializing with the other contestants before they could bond more. Lero came in to announce a bonus test. While it is voluntary to participate in, whomever wins will be granted immunity from all the remaining tests. Crown game, that's what they called it. Basically, it's like King of the Hill, where you need to protect your territory till time runs out. However, if someone is sitting on the throne, they cannot get up. Otherwise, the team will lose. This leaves the team with the crown at a disadvantage. With that, he announced the start of the match. The lizard girl, Anak, was not in a good mood and ended up whooping everyone silly. Her power was beyond anything we have seen from the warriors thus far. She then wore the crown and defended her spot diligently. Atta girl. The game was over and the next round of volunteers were being summoned. It seems that the winners will remain until they are deposed, so it's kind of like running the gauntlet in a way. 2 teams were let loose, making the handicap even harder. Hats, the swordsman, seems to be standing on business. His skills were exceptional and his powers were remarkable. The martial artist, Shibisu, was having fun beating up the ladies. This guy must have a unique fetish, while everyone was fighting for their lives. The sleepyhead. Loro hasn't moved from his position. Wait a minute. He got up? Would you look at that? He is using Shinsu. This guy must be a pro if he is capable of fighting Anak. However, he messed with the wrong lizard, because she was upset and unleashed her full wrath on the entire arena. Her weapon sure is special. It extends like vines and pierces anyone upon contact. Loro was stuck, dodging her attacks, and Lero was confused about the nature of the weapon. Suddenly, Bam's black march started freaking out for some reason, and Anak recognized it. Using the distraction, the ladies dragged Loro into the waiting room, forsaking the battle. Wise move indeed. Just then, Anak blew the gates open and confronted Bam about the sword. He wasn't supposed to be in possession of a legendary sword, which only belonged to the princesses of Jihad. She then revealed that she was a princess, and her weapon was called Green April. What an unexpected turn of events. To make matters worse for Bam, he made a bet with her over their swords. If they win the crown game, he gets the Green April, and vice versa. Things are starting to get exciting. Everyone decided to join all at once since Anak was out, and the throne was vacant. The hunger for power sure was unquenchable. Kun made a genius move by throwing the crown into the middle, letting everyone fight over it. He had made a copy and kept the original with him to give to Bam. I'm starting to like this guy. His power allowed him to copy a bunch of crowns, making the rest look like fools. This ticked them off, and they unanimously wanted to take revenge on Kun. However, Rak was there, and he wasn't going to let anyone lay a finger on them. The rest of the contestants looked on as they doubted their chances to win. Meanwhile, Rak was chatting with Kun and his abilities. The alligator simply wanted more food is all. It was time for the 4th round and 3 teams emerged. Before they started fighting, one of the teams suggested forming a temporary alliance to bring them down. However, there are always rebels who will defy the system and its rules. Apparently, these guys were in cahoots with Kun, since he saved them during the second test by stashing them in his briefcase. Must be quite a special weapon. What else does he have in store? A nuclear bomb? He then threw Rack a chocolate bar to appease his anger. The rest of the teams were eliminated, and once again, our heroic trio took the fourth round in their favor. Anak got up upon sensing a strong aura. The fifth round was underway, and fresh faces were seen on the battlefield. It was the final round, and everyone was going all out. A masked figure was running around gunning after everyone. For some inexplicable reason, the hooded figures started to protect Bam, and one of them sounded like Rachel even. Meanwhile, Rack and Kun had their hands full dealing with the remaining threats. Kun couldn't wrap it around his head as to why they would help them, but it must have something to do with Bam and his Black March. Just then, the masked individual got past the hooded contestants and was about to land a strike on Rachel, and Bam protected her. It seems that he was on the verge of death until a huge burst of Shinsu exploded and time froze. The divine concubine stepped in and stopped him from wreaking more havoc. How anticlimactic is that? On the other side of the tower, Princess Yuri was trying her best to locate Bam and take back her beloved Black March. It seems that the crown game ended with no winners, and Lara was discussing the matter with you. After going over the contestants and the tests, Lara went out feeling uneasy about the whole situation. While Bam was still in a coma, Rachel came to visit him and left a message with Kun. This girl is looking for trouble. Upon entering, she immediately conveyed her lack of interest in Bam and asked Kun to lie for her, pretend as if she was another girl, and move on with life. Girls sure can be cruel sometimes. Rack, on the other hand, was caught peeping and was invited to join by Kun. Elsewhere, Anak stole the Black March, which insisted on speaking with a handsome man. Ouch, even swords have preferences. Anak must be quite upset about this outcome. Suddenly, our boy awoke from his 5-day nap and was informed of the next test. Lero gave the lecture on the 5 positions: fishermen, who fight in close quarters in the middle; spear-bearers, those to kill from a distance; light-bearers, responsible for shining a light in the darkness; the scouts, who gather intel on the enemy's weakness; and the wave controllers, who provide support using Shinsu. He then announced their positions and told them to study it. Bam was given the wave controller position, and his training starts early tomorrow. Kun then lied to him about the girl he met and gave him a custom uniform. Bam knew he was lying and accepted the fact that Rachel didn't want to be with him. Love sure does hurt. Inside the lecture hall, Bam made a contract with a floor master who looked quite horrifying, to be honest. The next day, the hottie and Dorsey decided to sit with the gang and get to know one another. Bam and Kun also became friends with Shibisu and Hats. Before long, another challenge ensued where participants were required to throw each other off from the podiums. Anak and Endorsi started going at it like a heated cat fight. In the midst of their battle, they were throwing people off like they were dominoes. It was then revealed that Anak was actually the orphan of the family and wasn't related by blood. This show sure loves its plot twists. The 2 princesses of Jihad went at it and ended up falling together. Despite being badly injured, they tried to communicate, and Anak ended up revealing about her mother. She was killed for disrespecting the king's orders. How unfortunate. Elsewhere, Bam was progressing at a rapid rate, and his classmates were getting jealous of his accomplishments. He and Shibisu decided to treat the 2 princesses since they exhausted all their points on their medical expenses. Everyone was bonding and things were going by smoothly. It was now time for the next test, a game of tag, where teams A and B try to secure or snatch the other person's badge. Securing it grants you 100,000 points, and stealing is worth 200,000. One of the rankers was IT, and having to steal his badge weighed heavy on the contestants, and they were right in assuming this since he was a tough cookie to crack. I don't see a way out for them. Quant is literally toying with them at this point. They realized they were no match and retreated to think of another plan. While Kun was trying to think of a strategy, and Dorsey was chatting with Bam about what theirs would be. Quant finished his countdown and headed after them once again. This time he didn't hold back and showed them what it would feel like to climb the tower. After he finished with the riff-raff, he went ahead and met up with Kun. Unfortunately, he fell into his trap and Anak was able to escape unscathed. Now there's a strategy for you. Hold up, how did Quant teleport back up? He stole Anak's badge in a jiffy, causing Team A to lose. Wait, I still don't get how he was able to climb up so fast. Hold up, it was revealed that Kun and Loro betrayed everyone. I for one didn't see that coming. It was now Team B's turn, and Endorsi took the lead on this one. However, Endorsi ended up betraying her teammates as well. What is going on today? Bam tried to talk her out of it, but received nothing but criticism for being weak. Meanwhile, Quant was fighting with Hats, who seemed to be keeping up with the rancor. Elsewhere, Ho caught Michelle hostage and Quant, and Bam went there to save her. Unfortunately, Bam was too late, and Ho stabbed her. Ho started narrating his sad story to gain sympathy. He then unalived himself after feeling remorse, just when we thought we've seen everything. Endorsi came along and challenged the rancor. Bam helped, and together they managed to steal his badge. Team B actually won, huh? Funny enough, this whole elaborate scheme was Kuhn's doing. The kid sure is a genius. In a surprising turn of events, Rak pissed off the director and was shrunk. Guess it was bad karma after all. Bam came in telling them Rachel couldn't walk anymore, and as a result, he'll climb the tower to save her. He and Michelle managed to patch things up between them, and the results were finally announced. All the major players passed besides Michelle. Kuhn volunteered to take the administrator test in return for her passing. Only an irregular could take the test, and Bam revealed himself as one, shocking everybody. Bam then met up with the gigantic administrator who approved his request. They started the challenge and went underwater. Their teammates are supposed to protect them from the monsters and secure their escape. Sounds easy enough. However, there were monsters far scarier than what we see in our nightmares waiting. Luckily, the two princesses went after it, and the rest were planning an ambush. Bam and Rachel seem to be comfortable inside the bubble, while Endorsi is having a hard time, and Anayak met up with the creature that killed her mother. As powerful as she was, this guy was no joke, and ended up defeating her. He stole the Green April, and Endorsi lost against the bull. Both princesses were doomed. He then tried to control Endorsi to kill Anak. Even so, she broke free, and decided to fight him together. Despite his strength, he seemed to struggle against the two princesses. Just when they thought they defeated him, he got back up and unleashed his wrath. However, his reign of terror didn't last long as Princess Yuri showed up. Her power was even beyond the rankers, and she easily disposed of the rice ball creep. He wasn't going to be defeated that easily, and kept on pulling out all of his cards. Unfortunately, he was no match for real power. Using his dying words, he revealed that he sent the bull after Bam. Inside the ocean, Bam was struggling and was even badly injured. Things were not going well until he got swallowed by the beast and exploded it from the inside. They were almost there. He and Rachel were about to ascend until she pushed him off. What in the f is happening? I'm starting to suspect that she doesn't love him at all. It was revealed that Hedun knew of her ugly side from the get-go, but he let it slide and made her an offer. If she could kill Bam, he would allow her to climb the tower. He then gave her a bodyguard to pass the trials. All the while she was plotting ways of killing him. This is brutal. No wonder she only ate apples. She had no skills and no points. I have to hand it to her though. This is the type of genius move I'd expect from Kuhn. She really had my guy fooled and played him like a string. Love sure is a dirty game. Upon being found, she lied and told them the bull ate him. Since his body wasn't found, everyone assumed the worst. And what's even worse is they decided to help Rachel climb to honor Bam's memory. Nice guys do finish last, huh? What a sad world we live in. Fortunately, Bam was saved and promised to exact vengeance. Now that's what I call a cliffhanger. Can't wait till Season 2 drops. If you love our recaps, share the word and show some support. Let's grow as a community and spread our love for anime.
Yes.